What's up, everybody? Coach Mills here, coming at you with a brand new Valorant video. And in this video, we got a lot of things to break down. Mainly, all of this is going to be coming from senior competitive designer Evil Moore, who breaks down on Twitter a lot of different things, specifically about why rank just feels absolutely terrible. It feels unbalanced, different things involving Smurfs. He covers a lot, so we're going to talk all about it. So make sure you watch to the end, smash that like and subscribe, and go to the GameLeap website in the links down below for tons of high quality in-depth guides, tips and tricks, VOD reviews. We got so much in-depth content on the GameLeap website that you absolutely gotta go check out down below. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. Now, the story kicks off where Evil Moore tweeted this out about 2 days ago, stating this: "We are investigating why players feel like their matches have been one-sided recently. What's interesting is the feedback seems to be common at the end of every act. Good luck out there." So basically, in general, a lot of people are feeling like the matches just are not balanced at all. You're either getting stomped or you're doing incredibly well, and it doesn't really seem like there's that much of a middle ground. And they are actively investigating this right now, and there's a lot of questions that get asked in this thread that he answers directly, so let's jump into exactly what those questions are. The first comment was this, quote, "Others get Smurfs on their team. I get a Smurf all account player who is deliberately throwing just for the sake of fun, and another who is AFK till round 20. What the fuck is matchmaking?" And Evil Moore responded stating, "Report these players. I personally seen intentional throwers have punishments handed out. We don't stand for it in ranked." So basically, he's just telling everyone, if you have an intentional thrower, you know that they're intentionally throwing your games, freaking report them. They are handing out bans and punishments. So just make sure you're doing your part to make sure that all these throwers are getting removed from matchmaking. Now, the next comment said this, quote, "One thing that confuses me a lot is why players are allowed into lobbies when not queued together with ranks they otherwise wouldn't be able to queue with, i.e. why a silver was allowed in my game on the same team as a diamond." Evil Moore responded with this: "This is because we match on MMR, because it takes about 20 to 30 ranks to convert your MMR to your rank. It creates better matchmaking at the cost of visible rank being different. The problem is when we increase the size of grouping, it increases the potential range of MMR." He followed up stating this: "For example, a bronze player can have an MMR of around iron and silver, so if you're gold, we don't want you grouping with that bronze player because he could be on his way down to iron. That kind of thing, I want to improve this in the future." So essentially, he reveals multiple things to us. The fact that it takes about 20 to 30 ranks to actually combine or match your MMR to your rank, and then when you start going above and beyond that, your MMR climbs and then your rank will follow suit, or your rank could sometimes move faster than your MMR depending on how cemented it is. That's something that we already know. And sometimes there's a little bit of discrepancy where a player has the MMR of a rank or two above where they're at, but you get put in a game with them and you're like, why the hell is this person in my game? Now, this can kind of be frustrating because you don't really know if people on your team deserve their rank, if they're actually at that rank, or if they're just like getting put in your rank even though they shouldn't be. It doesn't create a lot of transparency, if I'm being honest, and Even More even stated that they want to improve this in the future. The first thing that I can think of maybe fixing this issue is something like Overwatch used to have, where you could look at someone's profile, you could see their most picked characters, you could see what their ranks were in the previous acts, and it was a really easy way to quickly deduce what rank that person actually is. And just because they're in a current rank now, if they were a different rank multiple seasons in the past, that means that they are actually a higher caliber player, and it's a lot easier to pick the character that matches with what you want to play if you know what other people play around you or what other people can play. But that also leads to some other sorts of toxicity because eventually you had the ability to private it. I'm not entirely sure if that's a system we should have in place, but what I'm more interested in is your personal opinion. What do you think should happen? How do you think they should fix this? Would you rather have your MMR and rank just be the exact same, or would you rather them just get rid of MMR altogether and just have you gain rating if you win and you lose rating if you lose? There's no MMR. That will just be purely on wins and losses. I'm not entirely sure if that's something that a lot of people want. I know it's that way at the higher ranks, so it really depends on your point of view, and I want to hear about it in the comments down below. Now, there was another thread that included Liquid Mendo and Evil Moore as well. The first question was from RNG Roy stating, "I'm so curious to hear some theories from involved Riot employees as to why this is happening versus pros/top 50 Radiants. Would be such a cool content piece." Liquid Mendo responded to that saying, "Maybe it's the same as in Overwatch. Matchmaking goes off team average elo. Pros have high elo, so they compensate by giving lower elo teammates, and people on enemy team have a fairly balanced team." Evil More responded to that saying, "Honestly, Part of it is probably players creating ults because they finished the grind on their mains. Then they're trying to get their ults to high rank before end of season, as well as people not caring because the season is ending. We take into account MMR differences, and it's not just based on average team MMR. The system is built to try to give the fairest match possible, but when people don't care or buy accounts, it has to correct those players and creates match imbalances. Now, this is going to be a common theme that we find a lot with some of his responses. Basically, when Smurf players want to grind towards the end of the season, they either already reach their goals for their main rank, or they no longer want to risk losing that rank, so they want to play on other accounts. There's a lot more smurfing that ramps up, and people that just generally don't care, they have high MMR because they're good players, but they're just throwing a lot of games because they aren't really taking it all that seriously. They can really create a lot of these imbalances, and it's really hard to find a solution to that, and it's something that they're actively working on, but they're not entirely sure what they can do directly about it because it's just something that happens a lot towards the end of the season. Now, I've consistently said this in a lot of my videos, especially the very start at the very end of any competitive act, it's going to be an absolute shit show every single time. I promise you, it's just going to be filled with a lot of people that just don't give a damn, and if you want the most enjoyable experience, you should be playing in the middle section of an act and not towards the edges. But honestly, at that point, it doesn't really matter. Just grind the damn game. It's not really gonna matter that much. Just keep in mind that the game feels a lot worse towards the end and towards the beginning of a new act. Now, the last comment I want to talk about was on Twitter stating this: just let us play with friends. And while this kind of seems like a dumb comment, it actually really digs into one of the big reasons that a lot of Smurfs exist in the first place, is because people just can't play with their friends, and then they get thrown in a game with people of that same rank as their friends, but they could never queue with them in the first place. Now, even more responded to this stating, the hard part about that is this conflicts with the goal of finding your true skill in ranked. Also, you end up boosting higher than you probably should be, and the highest ranks become teams of pros rather than individually skilled players. Now, the response to that was stating, in a 5v5 tac-based shooter, wouldn't coming up with strategies as a team and playing together, almost impossible to do in solo queue, prove your true skill? Also, if I'm already top 1% of all players, Immortal Plus, I'd rather play pros than randoms. And then even more responded to that, actually giving us some insight into some things they're working on, stating, this is why we are currently looking into ways for 5 stacks to play together competitively. 5-stack rank systems often have awful matchmaking and don't really represent ranks well. They also have low engagement rates and extremely long matchmaking times. This is always becoming hard separating the, quote, I want to play with my friends competitively from the, quote, I want to be boosted by my friends to higher ranks, as well as unfair matchmaking, which makes the highest level teams just stomp everyone else. But like I said, we are very aware that Valorant is the best when played with a group in a 5-stack. We want to promote this and find a better solution for these play groups. So essentially, he talks about multiple things. He talks about a 5-stack rank system being something that they really want to work on because they really like the game being played with a group of friends or in a 5-stack competitively, but they do have some problems. The matchmaking systems sometimes suck, and the engagement rate is low, which is a really big problem because imagine sitting in a 5-stack queue with your friends for like 45 minutes before you find a game, and then it's not even balanced, right? I'm not going to pretend I have all the answers to this question because you would probably have to try a lot of different things, and I'm sure the developers know much better than someone like me would, but perhaps giving some sort of incentive for 5-stacking would be the best way to pull people from the regular ranked into the 5-stacking system, or maybe relegating it to some sort of days or even just the weekend. I would even love to see some sort of league where you could get a 5-stack together, and perhaps in your specific region, you could actually play against other teams for really small prizes. Maybe it's just some skin credits or whatever. That would be a cool way to create incentive and create a lot of these 5v5s that are actually fun to watch, fun to play, and it would prevent all these pro players from just making their own 5v5s, and I just think it'd be a more enjoyable experience for everybody. But definitely let me know what you think about all this that I covered. There's actually a lot in this thread that I can't cover. I'm not gonna just talk for like 30 minutes straight. I know y'all would fall asleep. But smash that like and subscribe, and go to the GameLeap website in the links down below for tons of high quality, in-depth advanced VODs, tips and tricks, and so much more. We got a lot of damn content on the GameLeap website. If you really want to master your craft, climb as whatever agent you prefer, and get all the way to Immortal and beyond, you gotta go check it out down below right now. But thank you so much for coming by. I freaking love your faces, and I'll see you tomorrow.